Breaking news, everybody. Nancy Pelosi is pushing lawmakers to quickly get Biden's spending bill voted on and passed this week. And there are now 24 states that are providing the residents with more financial assistance. By the way, everybody, what do you think about President Biden and his work on the fourth stimulus? Do you think that he's doing all that it takes to send out the fourth stimulus check payment? Tell me in the comments below.
Proceed down a path to advance a very historic and transformative agenda. The President's agenda to build back better and also to pass a bipartisan infrastructure framework, create good paying jobs across the country, building the infrastructure of our country with mass transit to help clean the air, with safer bridges for safety for the American people, for broadband to help people communicate better, whether it's distance learning, telemedicine, or commerce, or just family relations. There are many other elements in the legislation that are very important to the success of our economy. But in order to build back better, we want to do that and pass the Build Back Better bill. I call it Build Back Better for women because it makes a big difference in being transformative for women in the workplace. We had hoped to be able to bring both bills to the floor today. Some members want more clarification or validation of numbers that have been put forth, that it's top line, that it is fully paid for, and we honor that request. So today, we hope to pass the BIF and also the rule on Build Back Better with the idea that before Thanksgiving, it should take another week or so to get the numbers that they're requesting. I don't know, that's how long it takes. And as we do, then we'll have a Thanksgiving gift for the American people. I do want to thank the Congressional Black Caucus for the creative alternative that they presented today that advances the agenda to do so in a way that, again, is historic and transformative. With that, I'll yield to the distinguished Democratic Majority Leader, the Majority Leader of the House, Mr. Hoyer.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Jim Clyburn, for the hard work that you and your whip organization, but you in particular, have put forward in terms of getting the work done. What is the work? The work is two bills. They are the President's vision of a better and stronger America, a more competitive America, an America that reaches out to its working men and women, its families, to its children, to educate them, to seniors, to make sure that they're cared for properly. These two bills will make, as the President says, a generational change for our country. I believe that the votes today to pass the infrastructure bill and to provide for a path forward by adopting the rule for the passage of the Build Back Better legislation will be a giant step forward. And I am absolutely convinced beyond a doubt that before Thanksgiving, the week of the 15th, we will pass the Build Back Better legislation. All members of our caucus have indicated they're for BIF. Almost every member has indicated, and I believe we will have an overwhelming Democratic vote and pass, on our side of the aisle, the Build Back Better legislation. I'd now like to yield to my friend Jim Clyburn, who has been so important in moving this bill.
So Democratic leaders are on track to bring both Biden's social spending bill and the infrastructure bill up for votes today. And this is following weeks of intense negotiations with progressive and moderate holdouts. The House Rules Committee is slated to meet throughout the night to finalize the text of Biden's spending bill, dubbed the Build Back Better Act. And the legislation is expected to outline roughly $1.75 trillion in spending over a 10-year period. And when the bill is finalized, the House will debate and vote on the rule for the spending bill, and then vote on whether to pass the bill itself. House lawmakers will also vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which is focused on physical projects. The House already debated the infrastructure bill, likely fast-tracking the final vote. And Steny Hoyer informed lawmakers of the expected timeline last night. Hoyer said the House will convene at 8 a.m. for legislative business tomorrow and will take votes on the Senate amendment, as well as the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and the Build Back Better Act. The votes will take place after tense fighting among Democrats in House and Senate. Joe Manchin has forced a significant cut to the scope of Biden's spending bill, which originally called for $3.5 trillion in spending on social and climate-related programs. But earlier this week, Nancy Pelosi announced a provision for 4 weeks of paid leave, which Manchin opposed and will be added back into the bill. And now Democratic leaders say pay-fors included in the bill, like tax hikes for the wealthiest Americans and IRS tax enforcement, will cover the bill's cost. Republicans have universally opposed the bills, arguing that they are fiscally irresponsible and could lead to economic ruin amid rising inflation. So if the House votes pass the Build Back Better Act, will proceed for a Senate vote. Still, it is not clear if Manchin and fellow moderate Senator Kyrsten Sinema, the two key holdouts, will support the final version of the spending bill. So, do you think Senator Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema should just support and approve the stimulus bills, folk? Tell me in the comments below. So the U.S. unemployment picture improved again last week, with initial filings for unemployment insurance falling to another crisis-era low. First-time claims dropped to 269,000 for the week ending in October 30th. That's down 14,000 from the previous period. The decline in filings comes amid a rollback in special programs initiated during the crisis. And as the job picture clears up, the 4-week moving average for claims, which helps smooth week volatility, fell 15,000 to 284,000. And a year ago, the average was just 791,000. So continuing unemployment claims, which ran a week behind the headline number, declined to just over 2.1 million. And all the jobless totals are the lowest since March 14th of 2020. The claims report comes a day before the Labor Department's closely watched non-farm payrolls count, and that is expected to show growth of 450,000 for October. Though the most recent claims falls outside a survey week the government used for its official count, the declining total represents a jobs market healing from the crisis, but also facing a series of unique obstacles. American businesses have been hit with a chronic labor shortage. It has caused a number of ills, including shorter hours and less product on shelves. There are still millions of Americans that are struggling to get back on their feet. After the crisis, in efforts to help the residents, some states are offering extra food stamps, worth at least $95 per household this month. For the month of November 24th, states have acknowledged an extension of the benefits. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, 45 states acknowledged the extension of benefits. The emergency support is available under the SNAP program and has been since the onset of the crisis. States were allowed to hike the food stamp benefits to the maximum levels when a federal public emergency and state-level emergency or disaster declaration were declared. So folks, that's all of the news about the fourth stimulus check. If you found this video useful and helpful, then be sure to subscribe to my channel.